Welcome to the Corner to the World event. This is a third event and also the last one of this month. So, another quick survey before we start. Raise your hand if this is your first time here to this event. Your first time? Okay, welcome. So we have some old faces, but we also have some new faces. So just so you know, just to be prepared, you're gonna be asked a lot of questions. It's a very interactive session, so everyone, you are free to express whatever you want to say, and the two hosts of today, they will ask interesting questions to you guys. Today we have very special hosts. Neither of them comes from Taiwan, which is okay. We still have countries, two different countries. They are going to talk about a very interesting topic today. So let's just welcome Samad and Titi to start today's event. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you guys are enjoying your lunch. So I'm Samad and she's Titi. I'm from India and she's from Thailand, and we are hosting today's Corner to the World session. So today we will talk about English, right? Because as you all are already here, so that means you have some kind of enthusiasm for understanding English, right? That's why you are here, you want to learn more. So today we are gonna talk about some interesting facts about English. And second thing is, so as you all speak Mandarin, right? Mandarin has almost 90,000 characters. But English has only 26 alphabets. So with only 26 alphabets, how English can be a global and dominant language in the world. But today we will know that English also changes from country to country. There are few specific words that are spoken in only those countries, but there are like in India and Thailand, we have some specific English words that are only spoken there. And if you speak here, or even in the US or UK, no one gonna recognize them. So without any delay, we just dive into our today's topic.
So first, let's re-ask you simple questions like, what do you think, how important is English for you? And this one is a video about the English.
English is a global language. It is spoken as a first or official language in many countries in the world and on every continent. About 350 million people speak English as a first language. For example, in Great Britain, the USA, Australia and Canada, but also in places like Jamaica, Singapore and Nigeria. In addition to this, more than 430 million people speak English as an official language in Asian countries like India and the Philippines, and in many African countries like Cameroon and Gambia. Today, English is also used as the official language in lots of international organizations. For example, the United Nations and European Union. It is the language of business, technology and medicine. And it is necessary for a lot of different jobs. For example, if you want to be a tourist guide or a journalist, or if you want to work with computers, you really need to know English. So why did a language that originated in a very small island like Britain become so important? One reason is that Britain was a very strong colonial power during the 18th and 19th centuries. In fact, by the beginning of the 20th century, the British Empire controlled almost a quarter of the land in the world. At the same time, it dominated commerce in countries that were not part of the British Empire, so the use of English expanded over an even bigger area. When the British Empire finished, many countries which became independent maintained English as their first or official language. Then, when the United States became the dominant world power in the 20th century, the English language became even more important. American English is, of course, based on British English, but some words and expressions are different. All modern languages continually change and develop. Many words that we use when we speak English today come from other languages like Italian, German and French. But English is also giving words to other languages. For example, the Italian language has adopted English words like computer, weekend, jeans, t-shirt and club.
So from the video, we can say that the two main reasons why English is a global language is because of the first one is the British colonizations, in which many countries is become colonized by English, and they start using English even after they become independent. And another reason is like the America being a superpower right after the ending of the World War II. And this one is the statistics from the Statistical Research Department in 2023. It can be seen that the English is the most spoken language in the world. It is about like 1,456 million people have speaking it. But as you can see that the rising second one is Chinese, in which as many as 1,138 million people start speaking Chinese. So that might be the later topic where we will discuss about that factor. And now, let me ask you guys, like, since English is one of the global languages, how about you, when did you start learning English?
So, you guys can just scan the QR code, and if you cannot scan the QR code, you can just go to Slido and write this code for answering for giving the answers to the question. Everybody done with the answer? Right. So anybody of you wants to share why you chose to learn English in elementary school or kindergarten? Like anyone voluntarily, otherwise I have to pick someone.
It is actually decided by passions. That I want to choose to learn English when I was in kindergarten.
Do you want your kids to study English from kindergarten?
One more time, please.
Do you want your kids to study English from kindergarten?
Maybe yes, because I believe English is an important language to learn. And it's easier to start learning when you're a kid compared to when you're an adult.
Anyone else wants to get the answer? Okay, Sia.
I started learning English in elementary school just because it's compulsory for everyone in my country, and I guess almost all over the world kids start learning English in elementary school. But I teacher wasn't really helpful when I started in the elementary school because I guess the way they teach it, like kids, when I was like 6 years old, it's not the best way to teach English. But in general, I guess it's better to start earlier than later because kids are catching up languages pretty fast. But kindergarten, I don't know, for me it's kind of too early because kids should have their childhood and we shouldn't force them to study too much and do too much because, yeah, because like here I see kids are studying a lot, so I'm wondering, do they have children, do they have free time?
So but I started learning English from kindergarten. Like the basic one, not the fluent one, but till my high school, I started speaking English. So but in India, they start like very early. From the moment you enter into the school, they will start teaching you A, B, C, D and all those things. They introduce you.
For in Thailand, we also like start early in age, but this one will be a huge difference between like an English program and the compulsory one. Like the English program, even in the elementary school or like kindergarten, they will be more like concentrated and start as like ABCD or like start vocabulary. But for the compulsory one, they just go over it and the exams will be exactly as they taught. So I don't think the student get it. Like, it's not working at all. And since you guys are starting early in age, like kindergarten or elementary school, so what do you think is your level of proficiency in English? Do you have confidence speaking in English?
Or any one of you have given any of these tests before? Right? Anyone just raise your hand? I'm not going to ask questions. Just raise your hand. Okay, cool. So you guys consider yourself as a proficient speaker or advanced speaker? Because I am an advanced speaker, I am not a proficient speaker. Anyone? Okay.
And like I said before about like the situation in Thailand, and on the left side is the scores during the senior year of high school, in which everyone in the country have to take this test. It's called as ONET. It's not have only English but also like other subjects like mathematics, science, social studies, and Thai language of course. And this is the average scores of like the people who take English exams. The full score is 100, but you can see that the average score is around 30% out of 100. So it's not as successful as like they taught it and then have an exam that's like exactly like they taught. Most of the people who got high score will mostly come from like international school or like the English program school. And it can be seen like in the statistic that around 20% of Thai population can speak English. But that is like located in the city, capital city, but not like at regional letters. And according to like the EF English Proficiencies Index in 2022, Thailand ranked 97 out of 111 countries. And we will talk about it later what is this index mean.
So the next part comes to India, right? So as you see in the video that we have official language as English. So in overall India, if you say we have more than 700 languages. Out of 700, English and Hindi are the most commonly spoken languages. But since we are talking about English here, you can see this part of India. Goa, here. This part, the people So 42% of people of this part of India are fluent in English. And if you consider like overall fluency in India, according to the census of 2011, like 10.6% of Indian population can speak English. And 10.6% means, just imagine 1.4 billion. 10% is like more than 150 million people can speak English. But if you see the current trend, the children can speak better English than me. They are speaking better than me and they can code better than me. So, and in the EF proficiency index, we are at the rank of 52, which means India is still moderately proficient, not highly proficient. And yeah, so after that, she's going to talk about what is this EF proficiency index means and where Taiwan comes in that ranking.
So EF Proficiency Index is like the world's largest language of countries based on the English skills. And mostly like it will compare the non-native English countries because like the native one is like different things, different topic to talk about. And this one is like based on a test of 2.1 million adults in 111 countries and regions. And like the number of countries will vary from years to years. And like the most recent years, there's more countries participate in this index. And this one is the ranking in 20 and 22. As you can see, like India is like 52, which is ranking moderate proficiency. And Taiwan is like in 62 in low proficiencies. And I would say that this one is a little biased in which Taiwan is grouping one over China. And that's have ranking by like the areas. But I would say that Taiwan is like in the top. Yeah. And this one is Thailand in 97, it's very low proficiency. But hopefully in the future it will be increasing.
So as we said that English has only 26 alphabets, right? And how 26 alphabets can make so many words, right? So but today I'm gonna share some fun facts about English, like how word changes, and I'm going to show you some of the examples regarding that. So for that part, how many of you know what is this fruit or vegetable? Anyone? After thank you. Anyone? Okay, you. Yeah, you. What's this vegetable? Yeah. Okay. She gave the answer.
It's okay, you can just say it out loud. You don't need
Just
to
say it loud.
Eggplant.
Yeah, it's eggplant or aubergine. But if you are in India, if you ask for eggplant, nobody doesn't know what is that. We call it brinjal. Brinjal. Nobody knows that what is eggplant. It's brinjal. So second part, what is this?
It's written there.
What's that? Yogurt, right? So in India, nobody knows yogurt. Yogurt means some kind of flavored thing, not exactly yogurt. We call it curd, and that's a brand. So if you ask in India for yogurt, nobody knows what you're asking for. You have to ask, hey, can you give me a pack of curd or something? And third one, what is this? Graduation, right? And most of the time, I know it's a very funny word, we call it pass out. It's like if I am in India and I graduated my master's degree, I said, I pass out my master's degree, not graduate.
And it's like from Thai, like the words usually used as like replaced from English word to Thai. But normally the one that is like different would be like the slang. In this case, this one is the popular slang like now. is called shock field. Shock is from electric shock, and field is, as you know, is feeling. So they says when you're like being shocked by electric shock, your feeling is interrupted. So it's like shock field. And in this case, it's like the examples. Like this one is written in Thai. They said the most shockful events of the year, in which the video was like filming the dog currently playing in the water near the ocean, the sea. Yeah. And it's like, wow, the dog is very cute. It's playing in the sea, and suddenly the dog pooped. So they call it shock field. Yeah.
So we are going to talk about some of the career perspective, right? Why we need to study English or learn English, and why we should be proficient in English. So some of the advantages are, obviously you can work in some foreign countries and get a chance to travel around the world. Second one is you will have the most of the recent updates regarding science and technology, because most of the science and technology we usually work in English. And third one, obviously in Taiwan, you can get a higher pay if you are proficient in English, but not in India. And third one, you can travel the world. And one of the major disadvantages is, so first one is that typical business English, sometimes it's very tricky. Just like the English that we speak and the English that we write in our scientific papers. That's very different, right? Or it's same. Alright. And second one is, sometimes in translation, the meaning is lost. Just like sometimes we translate, I use Google Translate a lot for translating Chinese, but most of the time half of the conversation is gone in translation. So yeah, so while entering, all you have seen this slide, right? So you have that badges. Yeah, this color, right? Everyone has it or not? Yeah. So I'll give you 3 minutes to discuss about this part, that does English ability will help you to get a good job or not. And think from a perspective of a normal student rather than a student of science or PhD. Okay? Like a normal student point of view. If you don't know English or if you know English, if it will help you to get a job or not. Okay. So your time starts now. And you can reshuffle yourself.
Just talk to the one next to you.
Or just whatever.
You can see the inventory.
So why did you say no?
They said, I kind of
And also based on location.
not sure about that. But like, yeah.
So for English, now?
As long as you can with it, you can make a sentence.
Celebrate happy.
You know, there's a saying that's why they don't actually need to do English. But Taiwan will not do that. They actually implement to do something. Give me an example.
Okay, time out. Go up.
Yeah, sorry. Why call me out? Come on.
Okay, so how many of you are in favor first? Just raise once more. Raise your hand. Yes.
Yes.
All time. How many no?
No.
And any maybe?
Maybe.
Good. 2, 3.
Two.
2. Okay. So first, anyone voluntary from the yes want to say why we need to learn English or it will help you to get a good job? Why? Anyone? Anyone?
I think if you can speak good English, that means that you have the better ability to communicate with others. And when here are some chances to go abroad, your boss may prefer to have you in his office.
Oh.
Right?
And if you are doing a job in Taiwan,
you may find some job that have the chance to interact with foreigners, and you have the potential.
okay. So anyone know? No. Which one?
Okay, fine. Well, easy. I don't use English in my job when I'm back at home, ever. Yeah, in my job, officially, I only work with local people, so never English. Here, just this event, otherwise I speak Mandarin.
Okay, so you think English is not necessary for a job in Taiwan?
Yeah. No, in my country, I don't know Taiwan. Yeah. But in my country, I don't speak English at all. Yeah.
Okay. And anyone maybe?
It depends on the kind of job you interview.
Okay, so
If you are teaching, if you are a Mandarin teacher, you don't need to have a good English ability. Or if you teach in an elementary school, they don't even know how to speak English.
okay, nice, wonderful. So most of the people here agree that they should speak English and it will help them to get a good job and interact with people, right? Okay. So recently we discussed that English is important, right? English is very important for it is helping us in jobs and more communications. But recently, many of the countries are avoiding the use of English, specifically the non-native speaking countries, that is like non-Anglophone nations. So Anglophone nations are the nations that speak English and they have English as their native language. Just like in Italy, they are planning to penalize with 100,000 euros fine the people who will speak English in government officials, because they think that their culture is destroyed by the English. Just like, for example, this word. How do you pronounce this word? It's a dish. Very tasty dish. How you will pronounce it? Charlotte, how you will pronounce it?
I don't know, like, I guess it's bruschetta.
Exactly, bruschetta. So most of the English speakers pronounce it bruschetta, or something like that. But it is bruschetta. Bruschetta. If you say this in front of an Italian, they will kill you. Bruschetta. No bruschetta, it's bruschetta. And second, in the Dutch, specifically Netherlands, they are trying to limit their English courses, as well as they want that whatever international student is coming to study there, they have to understand and study Dutch for like 2 or 3 years. So they are making it compulsory for it. So why these countries are doing that? And second thing is my country, India. We are also avoiding the use of English because our government feels that we need to get out of the British colonial mindset and use our more native English. And fourth one is France. France is also opposing the use of English in their country, and the people can be fined for using English in the government officials. So, and I'll give you a gist with a video regarding that part. So, why it is happening? Why English is a very good language, it's an easy language, and it's a global language. Why people are avoiding it in different countries. So that's a video.
Countries are trying to phase out English. There are over 1.4 billion English speakers in the world, but some countries want to take drastic measures to hinder it being the default language. The Netherlands has passed a bill to curb the use of English in university courses, proposing that 2/3 of the content in standard bachelor's degrees should be in Dutch. International students might also be required to learn basic Dutch as part of the proposed changes. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni is supporting a new bill that could see Italians who use English in official communications facing fines of up to €100,000. The bill still has to go up for parliamentary debate before coming into force. In India, there have been increasing attempts at promoting the use of Hindi instead of English by the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party. Prime Minister Narendra Modi believes the country should be freed from the colonial mindset of using English. He's introduced medical degrees taught in Hindi, and last year banned some government officials from using the English alone when greeting members of the public. The leading French language body has strongly warned about the rise of bilingual wordplay, with English words being peppered through everyday language use. The Académie Française worries this behaviour could lead to the erasure of equivalent French words, especially in the fields of fashion, sport and the internet. And in China, President Xi Jinping wants his nation to have more cultural confidence by not relying on English. In the capital Beijing, metro stations and maps have had English words removed. And in Shanghai, elementary schools have been banned from holding exams in English.
So, as you can see from the video that China is like mostly against, as it against most of the things. So, why countries are trying to do that, right? Why they are phasing out of English? And what's your point of view on that point? Is it good, bad, or okay, or whatever? So, we'll give you 3 minutes to discuss the person sitting next to you, or you can take your groups with your friends. So you have 3 minutes, and then we'll have a discussion regarding it. And your time starts now. of views that is it good or bad? Anyone voluntarily, or I just pick up?
I think Elizabeth wants to share.
What do I think? I think it's not a good thing, because I believe like having English as universal language, it's better for everybody. Like maybe let's say you meet somebody from a different country and you cannot even communicate with that person or have like any sort of relationship with that person because you cannot communicate with each other. I mean, I guess like you have to, like my group mate, he suggested that like he's okay using Google Translate, but I think it's yeah, but I think for me, if I have to like, maybe I'm friends with somebody and we have to use Google Translate all the time, I'll probably be stressed out. So I think maybe having English as a universal language is not so bad after all.
Okay, so I want to know the point of view of your partner as well.
What's the question?
Why do you think that, I showed you a video, right?
Yeah.
So those countries are trying to avoid the use of English.
I didn't, in my opinion, I wouldn't recommend to use the word for that, but I would say that in the past probably 10 years, I think using English as a tool to communicate with other people is convenient, but I don't feel like that's necessary nowadays or in the future. That's only because there's once I use Google Translation in a hostel talking to a Japanese who doesn't know English at all. So we actually don't use English to communicate. For 10 minutes, exchange political opinions with only using Google Translation. And I think that's at least, even though that's still not convenient, but I think in the future it might be live translation. You know, it's going to happen eventually. So I think using English as a universal language to communicate with other people might not be a thing in the future anymore.
Okay, so you agree with these governments, right?
Agree with?
They're trying to avoid English.
I agree. I agree, yes.
Very good, I want that. Okay. We see that there are two different points of view from the same group. One wants to that English should be there, and another one is against the use of English. So what these demographs will change, right? Now we will go to the first part of the slide, right, where we show that why English become dominant language, right? So first one was the British colonization, the English colonization. Second one was the America being the superpower, and Americans speak English. But and why America the superpower? Because they have a lot of money, right? A lot of GDP, defense support, and all those things. So according to the forecast by different groups and organizations of the world, China will become the superpower by 2050 and it will surpass USA, right? So what do you think that this demographics of English will change? Because as we see in the video, China removed the English names of the train stations as well. So what if China will say, okay, we will not communicate in English, we will communicate in Mandarin. So it's a good or bad? What do you think? And probably in the future might be India, China together, Hindi and Chinese both. So what do you think in this current changing scenario? What could be the future of English? Is it good that you are learning English with so many efforts? Is it worthful, fruitful or not? So if this situation happens and if China becomes a superpower, it's a very hypothetical question based on the news. And if they say, okay, we are the superpower now, we will rule the world according to ourselves. And we will only deal if you deal with us in Chinese. Do you think this is good or bad? Or first of all, it will happen or not? It is possible or not? So if it is possible, just make a silent or heart. I know I'm not liking hearing this course. And second one, no. So yes or no, how many of you? So the question is, if this situation happens in 2050 or 2070 and China become a dominant power, what do you think they will ask to replace Mandarin with English in all international trade? First question. Yes or no? Yes. Okay, so if this happens, is it good or bad? If it is good, then yes. And if it is bad, just do that. Everyone answers right. It's good. Okay. So, can you just keep your hands like this?
Answer.
Like this, good or
not.
Good?
Who's good or not?
You can do this. No.
Okay, good. So, yeah, you said good, right? Why is it good?
Yeah, because I think for me, Taiwanese students, if one that Chinese really refers English, I don't need to learn English anymore. Chinese to enlarge my business or maybe communicate with some maybe foreigners or students. Yeah, I think it will be more convenient for me. Yeah, thank you.
What about you? I cannot speak
You know how to speak Mandarin, right?
Neo.
Okay,
Okay, so anybody know? Yeah, Charlotte, you said no.
Okay, first of all, I don't think this is possible because English has a really, really long history, and even if China is the major power by 2050, it can take a really long time for Chinese to replace English. And also, a lot of studies and also histories are based on English, so I don't think that it is possible. And also, I think this is bad.
And also China has a history of removing history from history, right?
Yeah, but people want to learn English more. Like foreign countries, they don't take Chinese as their second language. Instead, now what we are doing right now, we are trying to speak English because English is the major power right now.
Good. Nice. So the take-home message after today's talk and discussion is, in my point of view, it's personal my point of view, that everyone should be proficient in at least 2 languages, whatever it is, like German, French, or whatever. Because I think if you know any 2 languages, you can learn 3 languages. If it's English, because I think English is one of the most easiest languages in comparison to Mandarin. So, yeah.
So, since you are here, I thought that probably most of you already know your second language because you see that you as English as important. So there's also other events by the same university. Further is even the next week quarter to the world and also English channel as well. Please be sure to register.
Hope to see you soon again.